And you can just see the fish down there grazing on the gravel. That's what koi do. This is a high school principal, right?
Junior high principal.
Junior high principal, yeah. Pretty nice to be able to let the kids get into your work, huh?
What do you think it'll cost? I said, there's someplace around $150,000 to do this. And he fell back on the ground and he goes, I'm gonna get divorced.
Okay, we got a...
The waterfalls have a lot of those big granite boulders in them.
To living the aquascape lifestyle. Abby, have you ever seen this pond before?
Yeah.
So this was, how many years ago we built this, Brian?
Like 19 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
You've never been here before.
I have never been here. This is what I love about my job, is getting out to see projects that we did 19 years ago that I've heard about. This is actually at a time we didn't even call them recreation ponds, right?
Oh. And what's funny is you were just asking Abby if she's ever been here. She's like, yeah, we just went swimming here. Basically the same way we're doing stuff now, with lots of wetland filtration, the circulation, you know, destination boulders, but look at how clear that water is.
Oh my gosh.
Look at, my kids are falling, like, let's get the shoes off.
Let's go right in with all the fish and everything else. And you can just see the fish down there grazing on the gravel. That's what koi do. And so what's so cool about this is a high school principal, right?
Junior high principal.
Junior high principal, yeah.
Has a love for gardening, love for being outside. He's a avid outdoorsman.
Right.
And wanted that at his home. You know, the log cabin.
I love the log cabin.
Every evergreen, every plant you see here, he put in himself.
Wow.
He maintains the yard himself. I mean, look at the grass.
Yeah, it's his therapy from being a junior high,
Look at the sand beach.
teacher. Yeah. Is this living the aquascape lifestyle or what? I mean, he's got his own beach, he's got a recreation pond, he's got a little retreat cabin back there. We got Brian's kids with us that wanted to go swimming. Go ahead, go in there, guys. So I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy, and it's all about showcasing how people live the aquascape lifestyle. And we're traveling around Chicagoland, visiting our own ponds today. Ponds that we've had for a long time that I've never seen before. Pretty nice to be able to let the kids get into your work, huh?
So funny because I was asking Mike and his wife, like, how often did their kids get in here? How often did the friends' kids get in here? And they really said not often at all. And he was just shocked at how effortless my kids jumped in. They grew up with it, like your kids.
Yeah.
What was that thing you told me? Your kids, when they were little, said, how come this guy doesn't have a pond?
Well, yeah, when my son was like 5 or 6 years old, he was at a friend's house and he goes, where's your pond? Because every house he'd ever been to is a friend of ours that has a pond, so.
Here's something funny, Greg. Like, so the biggest question we get when we talk about doing rec ponds with people is, really you swim with the fish? It's hard for them to contemplate swimming with the fish, but if you swim in Lake Michigan or the ocean or anything, you've always swum with fish.
Of course.
I think it's hard for them to think about it now because the water's so clear and you see the fish.
Yes.
My kids have grown up with a pond, seeing the fish all the time, so they don't understand why the fish are running away from them.
Right, right. So tell me about how this whole project, began.
So this one's actually kind of cool, Greg. I was just telling you the story not too long ago, and I've shared this with a lot of different contractors and stuff, but every time I go on a consultation, I have some notes, right? And it said, my notes on this one, 17 years ago, whatever it was, said homeowner has started construction in the front yard. They don't know what to do from here. And so instantly I think, all right, he's got like maybe a little preformed tub up by the front door, or maybe he's doing some kind of fountain thing and he doesn't know what to do. Well, I pull up this long driveway. We're in somebody's front yard right now. I pull up this epically long driveway. There's not a single plant on the property. There's a giant 18-foot deep hole.
Wow.
About 150 feet by 100 and some feet
That junior high principal started.
with a machine stuck down in the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. I go knock on the door, he comes running out, and we hit it off right away, and we started sharing ideas on what we could do. So we talked even about this, like, it'd be so cool at some point to put like kind of a log cabin over here, because originally in this spot, he had a kid's little tiny, it almost looked like a dog house, it was so small. A little tiny playhouse. So you could do this, and we could, like, you've got all your dirt over here, we could do big waterfalls, we could do a big sand beach, and all these different things.
Yeah.
And so he grabs me, and he goes, listen kid, how much is this gonna cost? This is not fair to ask me, this is gonna take me some time. And I remember this is 17 years ago, we were still learning a lot back then too.
Sure.
And I said, you gotta give me some time to figure this out. And he said, you've got an idea, what do you think it'll cost? I said, there's someplace around $150,000 to do this. And he fell back on the ground and he goes, I'm gonna get divorced. I told my wife it'd be about $5 grand.
Oh no.
Well, Mike, I can't fill the hole in for $5 grand.
Right.
And so what was nice about the two of them is they saw the value in having it. And not so much the recreation, but the kids fishing out here and everything else.
Yes.
A place to bring the family together. So they took a home equity loan out to pay for the pond.
And now it's a total family enjoyment.
Look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, who
Look
has
at it.
this?
Yeah, this is their front yard. They don't need a vacation home. They got the vacation home. Look at this waterfall. This never gets old. And then there's the wetland that filters the whole thing. See the Aquascape snorkel right there. Upflow biological filter with the Aquascape wetland. Flows down into here. Another snorkel over there. And flows back into that. Wow, oh wow. That's a front yard. Beautiful pathways around here. This guy had a vision and Brian was able to execute on it. Just amazing. Love the artwork. Every angle is a different view and everything is just so unique and cool. Fun, huh? You drive in this long driveway, and you turn up here, you can just get little glimpses of this water feature, different areas. But all the landscaping and everything else, just spectacular. Love this whole pathway that goes around the whole thing. I mean, every turn you come up on, it's just another beautiful angle. Love the bench over here, another little trellis over here to enjoy it by. Wow, like the fire pit right there, the firestone, natural plants. I mean, come on, how many people have lake houses? You make your house into a lake, something like this. You just imagine sitting by this fire area with that as your backdrop.
So we just brought this out literally like a week ago. This was his old fire rock.
Yeah, sure, little.
Made it himself, sat here and chiseled this thing out and everything else. Ran a line to it. I remember being here before thinking they must live here, right? And be able to look back that way. And how cool would be to have a fire rock just kind of put on the edge. What's awesome about it is how lightweight it is. Two people can effortlessly pick this thing up. Not anymore because I sunk it down in and everything. The other thing I love about it, obviously the shape of it really blends in with a lot of different types of stone.
Yes.
So awesome project. Like we said before, this is a swim pond without it having the title of a swim pond. This is something we put in so many years ago. Matt, check out all the baby minnows in here. Can you see them all? Look at that huge school of them. And so just like in nature, how cool is it that all the baby fish are finding the wetland filter to kind of hang out in and be safe and stay away from the predatory bass down here in the pond. I think what's fun about this is how the pond has evolved too. You can see all these bass here hanging out in this area. It used to be strictly a game fish pond, and then he got bored with the bass because you really didn't see them unless it was feeding time, and so that's why he started doing the koi. We built this awesome sand beach on the side. The one thing I remember doing with them, they're talking to him about the sand beach, was how annoying is it as a kid when you dig down 6-8 inches into the sand and you eventually hit the bottom. So this sand actually goes 3 feet deep, and it doesn't really taper off into the pond like we see some sand beaches. Here, fabric kind of comes up, overlaps, and then our liner comes and goes this way, keeping the sand separate from going into the pond that way. I think what I like best about this pond is just how it's evolved, and you really feel like you're in a different world, even though there's a super busy street right on the other side of those evergreens. There's a very common house subdivision just over to the side over there, and you don't pay attention to it all. You could lose track of time sitting in the log cabin he put over there, and things look great. Ponds are one of the few things that'll actually appreciate over time, and you can definitely tell with this one how much better it looks. So awesome. Why would you buy lakefront property someplace when you could have this in your own yard? Really cool. So in like all the designs, even back then, a little bit of mystery, right? So he's got this great pathway, actually inspired by Greg's pathway that goes around his pond.
With the crushed granite.
Yep.
Look how natural it looked with the lilies and the driftwood in there. And the kids are all playing in the wetland. And then here's what I love, Brian. Welcome to Lake.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It was an investment, that's for sure. But then he's got this beautiful cabin here. Oh my gosh.
Now, tell me you wouldn't just have every meeting, get all your work done in here.
Look at that view.
You know, Greg, how many times back before Pandemonium would you go rent a cabin just to get some writing and stuff done?
I know, because it's away from everything. Here you can walk 100 feet from your house and be away from everything.
Cool little loft that goes up to beds that sit up there. Can you imagine just waking up every morning and that's your view? I mean, people pay millions of dollars to have lakefront property. All a man and an excavator 19 years ago turned into all of this. And so we talked about the one wetland filter being over there, and then the main bog filter is actually up over here. So let's take the pathway. I'll actually just take you all the way around the pond. And that's what I love about these pathways. You just keep discovering different things. So you come up here, and then we did these really rustic kind of stepping stones coming across the waterfalls. And then you've got the bog filter there. You can actually see snorkel cap right there. And then we've got another bog filter up over here. There's the snorkel cap, and the centipede runs that way. So two bog filters kind of pouring into each other before they come down this way. And then that third bog filter we threw on last year. Now we get kind of more of a bird's eye view from up here at the top of the pond. Kids just caught a crayfish. I think they're looking to feed some bass. And it's not just the pond, it's the pathway, you know, just as you keep moving around. Look at that big old cypress tree. Not a plant was here when we started. He's put all of this stuff in himself. Another great viewing area from over here. Now here's something interesting. Obviously our style has changed quite a bit over the years, using bigger and bigger and bigger boulders, lots of machines. The waterfalls have a lot of those big granite boulders in them, but pay attention to this edge. All hand stacked little cobbles. And you really don't pay attention to it that much. I pay attention to it right away. I would love to see a bunch of big rocks sitting in here and stuff, you know, 4 times the size of some of those. But what makes every pond, I've said this 1,000 times, is the landscaping that comes in afterwards. And so your eye is not focused on these rocks at all. It's the big evergreens all around the side. It's the lily pads. It's the fish in the center. So you can still build a pond out of hand-sized boulders and make it look good. You don't always have to have big giant machine-sized rocks. There's not a person that comes back here and says, boy, you cut a lot of corners. Amazing. What are you guys doing over here, Greg?
The kids caught a crayfish and we fed it to the bass.
Do they eat it right away? That's awesome.
I love my job. Good work, buddy. There's all the baby fish that are up here in the wetland. That's what a wetland is for. It's for safety, because if they were down there, they would be getting eaten. Lots of them, huh? What do you think, Matthew? Could you do it? You have confidence?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if old dogs can learn new tricks. That's an expression, calling your dad old. All right, Matthew, what'd you catch? Oh yeah, a little crayfish. Okay, we got a. Ow, 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 ow.
Go to the bass. Don't. No.
Where's the bass? Let's see what happens.
Wait.
Oh my gosh, that was so fast. My gosh, the bass got him right away, huh? Not a bad recreation pond. 19 years old. So I just love it because here's the kids, they're stuck quarantining at home. We brought them outside to go and have fun with us and maybe fly the drone, and they're right in the water. And that's what kids do. Water is the source of all life. People that have water features, it sets the tone for their entire property, which is why we love to say a water feature turns a house into a home. If you're interested in turning your house into a home, check out the link below to find a certified Aquascape contractor by you. I love my job.